Welcome to Let's Talk Brock.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Let's Talk Brock podcast. I'm your host, Liam Nielsen, and today I am joined by a fellow fourth-year student at Brock University. It is crazy that we're already in our fourth years, but today I am joined by Robert O'Halloran. Robert and I used to work together on the Residence Action Council in our first year, so way back in the day, and Robert has been an active member of the residence community and also the kinesiology community at Brock. Robert, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm just enjoying this nice weather. I feel like we had about 2 weeks of rain straight, so now it's a nice sunny day, which I love to see.
Yeah,
Now,
fingers
semester's
crossed we'll
wrapped up
stay.
for you. So, what are you up to this summer in between semesters here?
Uh, with taking a break from online learning for a little bit after a busy year, but just work here and there, and getting ready for what's to come after fourth year, and after graduation, I gotta figure things out. So starting to work on that because time flies.
Time definitely flies, like I was mentioning at the top, and definitely a well-deserved break here this summer, so enjoy it. But you're a member of a number of different groups at Brock. You're involved sort of all over the place. You wear a whole bunch of different hats, as I like to say. But we'll start off with at the academic side. You are in the Bachelor of Science Kinesiology program. Is that correct?
That is, yeah.
Awesome. And I think kinesiology is one of those programs that you hear about a lot. People always say they're going into it, but I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily know what it means and what it entails. So do you want to shed a little bit of light on what do you learn in the kinesiology program and why did you choose it? Why did you choose Brock? What made that a good fit for you?
Yeah, I'll start with why I chose Brock. So for me, it's relatively close to home, which is something that I enjoy. I'm not traveling too far, even though I have friends that commute all over different parts of the world. Or not commute, but come here for the school year.
Mhm.
And then I have people who live local to Brock, and it gives me that little bit of independence and that experience with it. But at the same time, it allows me to keep my connections back at home nice and strong. So that's sort of why I chose Brock, as well as the student experience that it's known for. I remember when I was going through the student selection, that sort of thing. There was a lot of balancing back and forth of well, this program's the same and this program's the same, but what does it have to offer me in terms of uh, setting me up for success? And Brock's really known for that in terms of whether it be the residence experience, the workshops, all the services that are available. Brock's really known for that, and so that was a key piece for me.
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely that experiential learning, I think, is a huge component of that, and that's available in all of our programs at Brock, and especially in kinesiology in the kinesiology program. There's all kinds of different opportunities for students to get involved. And one of those that you've taken advantage of is the Brock Human Anatomy program. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that and what your role is there?
Yeah, so basically what that is, it's something that, I never really knew about until I took my first anatomy course here at Brock. And so that program is designed for undergraduate students like myself to be able to contribute to, the two sort of key foundational courses for a lot of students who are studying medicine, whether that be human systems anatomy or musculoskeletal. Those are sort of the two key courses. And so this program allows undergraduate students who have taken the course to be able to, uh, you know, they work in conjunction with a TA, and they usually have one lab, and they help the students be able to succeed in that course. And it's a great way for them to be able to get that hands-on experience, to continue working in a lab with, some of the most important things that will be important for their degree, but also, to be able to give back and help support the learning of their peers and share their experience with the course. And, it's a great way to sort of figure out what other people are doing with similar knowledge.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure. So it's sort of like a little bit of a mentorship type of thing. Is that right?
Yeah,
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 makes sense.
mentorship's probably a good word for it.
Cool. That's awesome. So anatomy, is that sort of like right in your wheelhouse? That's sort of one of the courses that's jumped out to you so far as something that you've really enjoyed.
Yeah, for kinesiology and, like I said, like a whole bunch of, uh, medical, health sciences, those sort of programs.
Mhm.
Anatomy is really a key pillar to it, likely something that any student in kinesiology, medical sciences, nursing is going to have to take to some extent in first year, maybe second year. And so that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about this is not only being able to, keep myself fresh in the material, because it's almost like I'm taking the course every semester,
Mhm.
but it also helps me to, give back to others and help set them up for success because these are two of probably the most important courses in their degree.
There you go. So kind of a win-win, really. You're benefiting
Mhm.
as much as the students are. So we talk about mentorship. Another very important mentorship piece that you've been involved with at Brock is in the residence community. So you've been a member of the residence life staff teams for a number of years now. So do you want to tell us about those, about sort of what our residence community entails, what you do as a residence life staff member, things like that?
The residence life essentially is sort of the student staff as well as some full-time staff at Brock, and we oversee the residence communities here at Brock and help make it the best place for students to be able to sleep, study, and socialize. And so I've been part of Residence Life basically since I first came to Brock, starting with the Residence Action Council, which is where we were. Um, but I've also, transitioned into the role of Residence Don. And so that's given me the opportunity to, provide, again, a lot more of that mentorship role and supporting students in my particular community. So last year I was a residence don in Village, and so I'd oversee a court with my codon, and we were sort of that first point of contact to help get students connected, especially in that first year as they're transitioning into university and being able to uh, support them in figuring things out and whatever hurdles or obstacles things may throw at them, but also just a peer and a friend because we're for the most part like very similar in age or the chapter of life that we're in. So helping build that residence community that's so important as well as that Brock's known for.
Yeah, for sure. I always describe it like when I'm giving tours and stuff is kind of like an older sibling, like the residence dons. Would you say that's pretty accurate? Just sort of helping guide that transition into university life.
Yeah, that's really a big pieces, like you said, guiding that transition, and so setting them up for success and being that person that's there, with a little bit more experience and the training that we have to be able to support them as best we can. And we aren't we aren't there to solve every problem,
Mhm.
but we're able to help get students connected with the resources that will best support them and lead them to success.
For sure, that's a very important piece, very important role that you play within the residence community. And I know, just speaking from my own personal experience, when I lived in residence in first year, I had a great time. And my Don in residence, he was a big piece of that, sort of guiding that transition, making sure everyone felt comfortable, planning all these fun activities. It was a great year. I would definitely recommend it to anybody sort of on the fence about residence or not. And I'm sure you would echo the same. And there are multiple ways that you can get involved in residence, not just in the residence life staff, but if you really want to hit the ground running, if we have any eager beavers or I guess eager badgers out there, if you will, you can really get involved in your first year through the Residence Action Council, which is what we both did. Do you want to shed some light a little bit about the Residence Action Council, sort of the differences between that and the residence life staff, what your role was, and what that experience was like for you?
Yeah, so the Residence Action Council, also known as RAC, is made up of students primarily who live in residence, and so it's sort of like a advocacy group to help make residence a better place, and not only providing events and programming for the students in residence, but also hearing the concerns of resident students and being able to help them in making sure that they feel that their voice is heard. So it's a lot more of an advocacy um, piece for the students, whereas you've got residence life, as residence education dawns, head residence, that sort of thing. That is a lot more of that mentorship, working not necessarily one-on-one with students, but connecting students to those resources. Whereas residence action council is a lot of that advocacy, and again, also still helping to make sure the residence experience is as best as it can be.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a really rewarding experience for me. Gained a lot of leadership skills, for sure. I'm sure I know you would probably feel the same. And we
Mhm.
planned a whole bunch of events for resident students as well, which I think was pretty cool. It was cool to see the engagement on those. So I definitely recommend that one as well if anyone's looking to get sort of a student council like experience when you're coming into residence. REC is your way to go. Now, Robert, I want to finish off the show with just a few sort of rapid fire questions here. So, quick little answers because we are running a little bit short on time. Moving away from residence a little bit, what is your current career and educational goals, and what do you want to do with your Bachelor of Science Kinesiology degree?
Yeah, so it's funny that you asked that because I chose kinesiology because to me it was one of those nice hybrids between working with athletics and working in medicine. So kind of looking at sports medicine more specifically.
Mhm.
And kinesiology is a really big stepping stone for people who may not know what they want to do, or they just sort of need that stepping stone to get to whatever their future aspirations are, whether it be their masters or more specialized fields. And so with that, I think that, uh, you know, being able to take that and, what you want to do based on the experiences that you get in a kinesiology program. I think that for me, it's been, something that I didn't know what I wanted to do before, but moving forward, I'd say, uh, you know, mental health is something that's really grown. And so that's actually something I'd be considering. But generally, more speaking, is, that's sort of the line of work that I'm looking at now. But, you know, generally, still going back to kinesiology is helping people, not just from a career perspective, but also just being able to take that knowledge and apply it to my own life to support those of my friends and family, just to be uh, live the best life that they can. And so, one that's helping people really. And But yeah, mental health is sort of where I'm looking now. Mental health crisis work, but that's not to say that kinesiology, it opens up a lot of doors for you, and so even for other things down the road, it keeps those doors nice and wide open.
For sure. I think you hit the nail right on the head. Opens up a ton of different doors. That's not just kinesiology. That's pretty much all programs at Brock. You can take them in a whole bunch of
Hmm.
directions. So it sounds like you got a good little path you got going on there. Now, what is one opportunity that you've had at Brock that you never thought would have been possible coming out of high school?
I think that the number of workshops that are available at Brock, whether it be through A to Z learning, human rights and equity, those are something that I never really expected. When I came to university, I just sort of expected, yes, there's extracurriculars, yes, there's obviously your academics, but there's so many workshops that are almost like a no commitment necessary. You can go to one workshop, you can go to 10 workshops, and they're all available to you. And I think that, with the different extracurriculars that I've been a part of here at Brock, specifically working and looking at the resident side of things, getting involved in that extracurricular has provided me with a lot more exposure to the different workshops, and training and certifications and experiences that's available. So, not really extracurriculars, but all the different little workshops that Brock has to offer, that can help that can help enhance my career, me being able to chase and succeed and fulfill my career goals, but also just being able to take that information and apply it to my own life.
For sure, tons of different workshops, always being held by A to Z Learning Services and Career Zone and Human Rights and Equity and student wellness and accessibility, and pretty much anything you can imagine. They're holding workshops. They're
Hmm.
helping our students build those skills. Now, I do have one final question before we log off here. It's a question I like to throw to every guest that comes on this show. Robert, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I'm sure you miss being on Brock's campus just as much as I do. Thinking back, what is one of your favorite spots on campus, and why is that your favorite spot?
Mm, I would say, I'm gonna go with maybe, Pond Inlet. It's, right in the middle of, Mackenzie Town, and so that's a great spot. I have a lot of meetings in Mackenzie Town, and those area, those areas of campus, and I certainly do have memories of getting lost in that area. But Pond Inlet is a nice place to go and just relax, de-stress. You got the waterfall and uh, the spring, summertime, and it's just a nice, quiet place to go. In the middle of all the busyness that we sometimes have in the middle of the year, to just go and relax and unwind. As small as it may be, it's uh, definitely a nice place to provide that little bit of calm. So, yeah,
That's a great answer. Nice little waterfall area right in the middle, sort of like a courtyard type of thing, right in the middle of a few buildings. So it's a really unique spot. Definitely a great little spot on Brock's campus. Don't go chasing that waterfall, though, as somebody once told me. But Robert, thank you
yeah,
very much as I wrap it up with a really corny joke. But thank you very much for coming on the show today. Thank you for sharing your Brock experience with us.
no problem. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care.
Indeed. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, you can contact us by email at futurestudent@brocku.ca.